In this funk rhythm guitar lesson, we'll be going over the top 5 mistakes people make and how to avoid them. This is the Bearded Guitarist. Welcome to this video. Today we'll be going over a few funk guitar tips. So if you really want to improve your funk playing in just a few minutes, make sure to watch this video till the end. Now, the mistake number 1 that you can make when you play funk is not having a great timing. Now, most people think they do have a good timing, but they actually don't. And one of the main reasons is because you don't practice enough with the metronome. Now, practicing with a metronome is such an important tool when you want to improve your timing, especially in a genre like funk. So one of the first things is making sure that whatever rhythm you're playing, it doesn't matter how difficult it is, make sure that you do it with the metronome. Now, the mistake number 2 is about the position of the picking hand, so my right hand. Very often I see the right hand movement not coming from the wrist, but actually coming from the forearm or from the elbow. So you need to make sure that you actually move the wrist all the time and that you don't keep it too close to the string. So you don't want to be here and just do this. You actually want to be like this. So you want space, you want room between your wrist and the strings, okay? And another thing that I don't see too often is being loose with this wrist, okay? Make sure that you're loose and that you keep moving it this way all the time. Now, another mistake, this is the mistake number 3, is playing too hard on the strings, okay? Like that. You don't want to play funk this way. You want to play funk much more gentle. This allows you to have a great dynamic and to play in a more interesting way with more timing. So in order to do so, I would suggest to explore different picks. What works for me is using a medium pick, and this is because you want the pick to slightly bend in between the strings to avoid having too much of an attack on the strings. You actually want to, go in between the strings and be gentle, and that is the best way to get that typical funk attack on the strings. Now, the mistake number 4 is playing too many notes. It's true that we divide the beat in 16ths when we play funk, like 1 E and up, 2 E and up, 3 E and up, 4 E and up, but you don't necessarily want to play all of these 16ths. You don't want to get rhythms like all the time, not even with ghost notes. Like, yeah, sometimes, but most of the times this is too much. While if you introduce more pauses, for example, you get more of a variety in the sound, like so using short and long sounds, pauses in between the grooves, it's pretty much like when you talk. You wouldn't talk all the time without taking any break. So just make sure that sometimes you play strums, sometimes you play ghost notes, and sometimes you just let longer sounds and use the legato sounds, or you take staccatos, so short sounds in connection with pauses. Now, 5th and last mistake is playing too many strings. Let's take an A7. Now, this is a great example of a chord which, in theory, it involves 6 strings, but if you play it in funk, you never want to play it as. Because again, this is too much. So what I would do instead is playing only 2 or 3 strings. And I'm strumming only the high end of the guitar, okay? So either the 1st, 2nd and 3rd, or maybe the 2nd, 3rd and 4th. And this is to avoid adding too much of a low end on these chords. And as soon as you do it, you get more ideas for your funk rhythms, And you can then add your embellishments or extensions. If you just play an A7 this way, with all of those 16ths over all of the 6 strings, you wouldn't get. So these are my top 5 mistakes and how to avoid them when you play funk guitar. Please let me know in the comments if you make any of these mistakes or if you have any suggestions for other funk guitar players to avoid more mistakes. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it and share it. And if you haven't done it yet, subscribe to this channel to keep up with all of the upcoming lessons. You can also follow me on Instagram, and if you want to share your funk grooves on Instagram, make sure to tag my profile and use the hashtag #TheBeardedGuitarist. I'll be able to check out your versions and share your practice in my stories. So this was the Bearded Guitarist. Thanks a lot for watching this video, guys. Enjoy your funk rhythms and see you next week.